I'm Sunny Muffin, and this is my game submission for Awesome Games Done Quick 2020. This is Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and I'll be running the Black Eagles category. Currently, only the Black Eagles and the Golden Deer have solid routes, but by the time AGDQ rolls around, we should have a route for Blue Lions as well, so if there's a potential for a bid war, that would be pretty cool. You get to pick your favorite house. So yeah, we're going to be just kind of rolling right into it. This is like just the starting up of the game. There's a couple of different menu options here. Some of these could be potential like bid war candidates, such as the name or the birthday. The Black Eagles route actually requires the female main character. There's a character later on that you get to recruit for free if you're the female main character. But the Golden Deer route, you get to pick whichever gender you'd like. So yeah, this is 3 Houses. It is the newest game in the Fire Emblem series, and it plays very similarly to the other Fire Emblem games, but it does have a couple of unique gimmicks. So it has like an overworld monastery section that plays kind of like Harry Potter. We don't see too much of that because it's pretty slow, so a lot of that got routed out. And then there's the actual battlefield, and this is all very similar to other Fire Emblem games. It's just like a top-down, top-down turn-based strategy game where you're moving your units around. They do general attacks. They have like their different weapon types. You have a couple different magic users, and unique to this game, you have battalions, which I'll explain in depth a little bit later when they actually get introduced. So this is the prologue. Basically what we're doing is this is a kill the commander map. You'll be seeing a lot of these throughout the entire run. Your goal of the map is to kill the commander. So Costas right here, he's going to be the guy that we have to take out in order to clear this map. This is the only really 100% scripted map. You can do the same actions every single time and you will get the same outcome. The only thing you can actually change is like if you get a crit or something like that, then that will change it a little bit, but like the exact same actions still work. You just get another level, which is kind of interesting, but it's really unnecessary and you don't need it. So this route is the one that I really had the most like influence in routing. This is my baby. I do enjoy the Black Eagles route. They were the first house I picked casually, and I really find their characters pretty interesting. I think for the most part, like this game had really, really good character writing. None of the characters are like super similar. They all kind of fill their niche, which I think like it just makes a great game casually. And this was a pretty well recepted like Fire Emblem game because it's like it is a very niche category, and there's not like a ton of people that really enjoy the turn-based strategy style. But this game, it was really good. So yeah, we're going to be flying through the Black Eagles. This is the shortest route out of all of the possible routes. It only has 18 chapters as opposed to Golden Deer, Blue Lions, and the Church route, which all have 22. But some of the later maps are more difficult just because like that difficulty curve, it kind of gets a little bit wonky when you shorten up the chapters. All right, so this is pre-recorded, obviously. This is a run I did earlier today. But yeah, so what we're doing here, this is the monastery section. Again, you're like running around. It like kind of plays like Harry Potter, which is a little bit weird to say, but I guess that's kind of what it's like. So you're running around, you're meeting the 3 houses. You have to go talk to the leaders of the 3 houses, who are Edelgard, Claude, and Dimitri. They're going to play a pretty big role later on in this game. And the monastery sections are pretty slow. Like they take a good amount of time. You can see me here like trying to get to this door that will never load, but thankfully most of this is gone from the route. There's a couple of mandatory sections like such as this one that you have to do, and you see me also playing in like the over the shoulder kind of like third person mode. It's faster to do that as opposed to the fully zoomed out mode, not by a lot, but it is significant enough that we want to make sure that we're zoomed in anytime we're in a monastery section. I think there's one that I don't do it on just because it's so short and the movement is kind of precise, so I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care that much about the 0.5 seconds I'm going to be saving on that. So yeah, right here we're going to be introduced to the houses. Combat in this game is pretty cool. Like each character, you can kind of develop them into whatever you want. So you can train them into like an axe user or a sword user or like a magic user, depending on like whatever you want them to do. Certain characters have they have certain things that they are prone to liking. So you have characters that are kind of pigeonholed into being your like main black mage or white mage or like archer, things like that. But you can develop them really any way that you want. So we're going to be seeing a couple of the different characters from the Black Eagles house in this first section here. We're primarily just seeing Edelgard. All of this is just quests that you have to do. The game won't let you skip them. Later on, we're going to be able to use the calendar and just go ahead and skip right to wherever we want to go, which is usually just the battle. We don't really care about the stuff in between. But there are some forest monastery sections that you have to do at the beginning of the game, as well as ones that we have to do a little bit later on to build support with Edelgard. So support in this game is the relationship building component of a Fire Emblem game, where you get to up that relationship and get different cutscenes, and eventually at the end of the game you get an S support somebody, and they become your partner, which is cool. But we won't be doing that. It's a speed run. It's way slow to do that. This speed run is required to get Edelgard to C+, so it kind of moves on a letter grade ranking. She starts at D, and we need to get her up 2 to C and then to C+. So it's not a ton, and we do have to go out of our way to do that. But we figured out a pretty quick route for it, and it's not terribly slow. The initial route that I did of this was it was terrible. We wound up doing a lot of the eating and the gardening that are in the overworld monastery section, and it's too slow. Alright, so we're into Rivalry of the Houses right now. This is chapter 1 of the game, and it's low-key the hardest fight in the early game. We've tried a couple different routes for it, and it's none of them are consistent, and you have 2 axe users, and axes have an 80% chance to hit, so if you miss one of those axe swings, it's your entire strategy just gets thrown off, and you're basically just YOLOing it. So what we're going to be doing is you get to pick 3 of your characters from the house. It defaults to Linhardt, but we switch him to Caspar. Linhardt is actually going to be used in the speedrun, but Caspar is much better at early levels. Linhardt really is only used for his utility. He doesn't do a ton of damage, and since he hasn't really have anything unlocked yet, he's kind of useless, so we just sub him out for Caspar. The other thing I did in the battle menu is I switched Dorothea's training sword over to Edelgard. That's going to be used in chapter 2 for a very specific strategy that we have to do. Yeah. So we're going to be just kind of moving on. Goals for this fight: we really want to see Byleth, who's the main character. We want to see her hit chapter 5, or not chapter 5, level 5. One thing that I want to apologize in advance for is if I use the wrong pronouns for Byleth, because I just recorded my Golden Deer commentary, and the main character in that's male, so I was used to saying him for all of those, but I apologize. In this run it is a she, so Byleth will be our main character. We're going to be trying to minimize XP on Edelgard. That's something that's going to be popping up halfway through the run. If you go into the time skip in this, spoilers, there's a time skip. If you go into the time skip with Edelgard at level 1 or 2, you're in really good shape. There's a whole thing of math that's done behind that, but basically your Lord, which is Edelgard, she's our Lord, when she levels up via time skip, everybody levels up via time skip, she actually gets classed to her Armored Lord class, which has different base stats than her Noble class, which is what she is right now. So she gets classed to Armored Lord, gets bumped in base stats, and then she gets the growths for all of those based on the Armored Lord. So what happens with level ups in Fire Emblem games, for those of you that aren't familiar, is it is randomized, but it's weighted randomized. So each character has a list of stats. So Byleth, for example, has a 55 to strength growth. So 55% of her level ups, you should see a strength up. It's not exact, it is randomized, so it just kind of rolls a dice, and if you have rolls a d20, and if you have 1 through 11, you get the strength up. If you don't get the strength up. So it really helps when you get in more advanced classes. They have higher growth rates, so you want to get to those higher level classes as fast as you possibly can, or you want to keep your characters as low leveled as possible, so then they get auto leveled at the time skip, which is what this speedrun does. We're going to try to be only getting XP on Byleth. Byleth is going to carry us basically through the first half of the game, and then from there Edelgard's going to take over because she becomes a beast, and yeah, it's going to be it's pretty funny what we wind up doing to the end chapters of this game. If you played this game casually, it gets pretty ridiculous with some of the strategies that we wind up using to finish this game as quickly as we possibly can. Alright, so that was we just blew through chapter 1 right there. That was an okay fight. I kind of wasted a lot of time trying to get Edelgard not to have XP. I know that sounds weird, but you get more XP when you kill a unit, so I want to have Edelgard soften the units up as opposed to getting the killing blow. And Byleth was just kind of out of position for part of that, so I just really didn't get those killing blows that I needed to on her. So what we're doing right now, this is another forced monastery section. We have to go talk to Geralt. He gives us a quest to go get a tactics primer. We have to talk to Edelgard because she's our house leader, and she's telling us about strategy. I don't even remember what this is. We just mashed through it. And then from there, we have to go and we teleport up to the second floor to pick up the tactics primer, and then we're done. Like, that's it for this monastery section. This monastery section used to be so long, it was terrible. But yeah, so in this game, in the monastery, you have to go discover locations, and as you progress through the game, more and more locations open up. All of the students are present in the monastery. You can talk to them, you can build support with them, you can do all sorts of different things, and you can just like watch those cutscenes. You could like learn who they are. You could even recruit them to your house, but that like takes way too much time, so we're not going to be doing that. Yeah, and then as you saw me kind of portaling around there, as you like tag a location, it unlocks it for fast travel. So we want to tag the locations that we're going to wind up needing as soon as we possibly can, so we can just teleport back there. This is the game's instruction component. This is one of like the more unique things in a Fire Emblem game that I've seen. Basically, you get to pick your goals for the character. They could have 2 goals. Some of them we only put 1 because you get more experience in the 1 as opposed to splitting your experience between the 2. So Edelgard, we switch to axes and flying. She is going to be our flyer when we hit the late game, which is flyers are a little bit broken in this game. You'll wind up seeing that. And then we switch Lindhard to just Faith, and then we switch Dorothea to just Reason. So that's Faith is white magic and Reason is black magic. And those will all come into play just a little bit later on. Alright, so we are moving into the practice battle. This is when I do my first shop of the game. We want to get gauntlets onto Byleth as soon as we possibly can, because gauntlets are the best early game weapon. They have a very, very low weight, so you can hit the 2x and the 4x breakpoints much faster. The way that works is speed in this game is determined based on your weapon and your weight of equipped items, and if you have more than, I believe it's 4 speed, you 2x an enemy, and if you have more than 8 speed than an enemy, you 4x an enemy. And that just means your weapon attacks twice or attacks 4 times. A lot of the breakpoints in this game are speed-based and not strength-based. So there are certain boss fights that I want to make sure that I have 4x or 2x on, just to be able to make sure to kill them as fast as we possibly can. So we're going to be classing Byleth to basically the speed oriented classes of Myrmidon, and then later on Mercenary, just to get that extra speed bump that you get with the growth rates on those. So this is the practice battle. Basically what's happening right now is the game has a few options that you can do during your free time. So you're in a class, you're like in university essentially, and during the week you're instructing. You're teaching your students what they want to learn, like, okay, cool. And then on the weekends you get free time. Free time's cool. You get to pick between a couple of different activities. You can either explore the monastery, which is like wandering around and talking to people, doing quests, doing things like that. You get to pick between battle, so you can do like a generic randomly generated battle. That practice battle is like the tutorial for that. That is the only battle we're going to wind up doing that is not forced. And then you can do a seminar, which is going to be the next one that will pop up here. That basically has one of the university's professors teaching your students something. So right now we're going to be picking Manuela. Manuela teaches sword and she teaches faith. Sword is really, really important in the early game. You basically have a breakpoint where you need to get Byleth's sword to B. So everything in this game is on the letter scale. You either start at E or start at D. Depending on the character, what their proficiencies are, you're going to start at a different point. So Byleth really needs to hit B by basically chapter 18, which is the last chapter in the game. But gauntlets are the better early game weapon, so you really need to balance like what you're going to wind up doing. So I have it's pretty well routed out to where I get C on I get D plus on gauntlets by a specific time, and then I get C on gauntlets to be able to use the higher tier gauntlet, and then I basically stop using it, just to use sword, maximize sword, just to get to B, because that's what is used to unlock better weapons. You have to have a proficiency level to be able to use the higher level weapons. Okay, this is like one of the cooler chapters in the game. So this strategy is like basically copy pasted from a Japanese runner that put out a speedrun like, I don't even know, like 3 weeks ago. It was really early into this game's life cycle. That was like it was a 230 golden deer route, and that's kind of what we based a lot of our strategies on. So this was all copy pasted. Pretty much what happens is we put Byleth and we put Edelgard right at the base of these stairs. Now I unequipped a Byleth there. That's because like AI in this game will always go for the weakest target. So when Byleth is unequipped, the enemy's like, oh cool, we got some fresh meat right here. We're gonna go after Byleth. But then I go ahead and re-equip my weapon, heal up, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we're not going after Byleth. And they basically go around Byleth and Edelgard. This is important because what we're trying to do here is we're killing off all the students we don't need. It's pretty brutal. We just like dump them in a canyon, we unequip all their weapons, we unequip their magic, and just let them die. We do that for a number of reasons. So instructing in this game, you only get a set number of instructs based on your character level. We want those instructs to land on the characters that we're actually going to be using in the speedrun, or else they're going to land on just a character that we don't need, and then our characters are going to be behind in development. So at this point, I only have 3 instructs, so I'm going to kill off every character I don't need, and then when I do auto-instruct, so I don't have to manually go in, it's going to select randomly 3 of the characters that we have left, which I only have 3 characters left. So that's really, really convenient. Additionally, you might have saw like a couple minutes ago when the menu pops up when all of your characters are getting skill ups, because regardless of who your instruct lands on, you always have a base level of instruction on everybody. You're going to have skill ups, you're going to have those pop up. When they're dead, they don't pop up. Same thing with the calendar. On the calendar, you have every character's birthday, and if they're all dead, their birthdays don't pop up, so you save a little bit of time there as well. It's actually really, it's the main reason that we play on the classic mode. So Fire Emblem games, they're notorious for having their permadeath mechanic. That's the classic mode. This game does come with the casual mode, where if you do have characters die, they're not permanently dead, but we don't wind up doing that. It's slower. This is also played on the normal difficulty setting of this game, which is the easier of the two. Hard mode just hasn't been routed out. There's also a New Game Plus, which also hasn't been routed out. I'm not personally super interested in it. I don't find it like very interesting to basically roll through the game with max stats and just destroying things. So right here, we're classing Byleth to a Mercenary. Mercenary has a bonus to movement, which is going to be, it's good for going fast. We want to be able to move more tiles. Alright, so we're going down here. This is another forced monastery section. We're going to be unlocking battalions. Battalions in this game are really, really cool. It's one of the things that's unique to Three Houses from Fire Emblem. So battalions are basically a unit that you attach to your students or your main character. So we're going to be starting with Gerald's Mercenaries, which is it's a pretty good battalion. It's not too bad. Each battalion has a special attack or buff or heal that is called a gambit. So you can see here we're buying a couple of battalions for our other characters. So they have various gambits that do different things. So like there's gambits that will push an enemy back. There's gambits that'll pull an enemy towards you. There's gambits that'll attack a big area. And then there's buff gambits. We're going to be using one for the majority of this run that's called Stride. Stride is a move speed buff. So we want to slap that Stride battalion onto a support character that's going to be just kind of following us through the entire game. So Edelgard gets the Stride right at the beginning, and we're going to be switching it off to another character about halfway through the game. So battalions, on top of having their additional attack, they have they give you a stat buff. So the battalion that's on Byleth right now gives you a physical attack buff as well as an avoidance buff, which is like, that's exactly what we want right at this point in the game. So no need to change. Battalions also level up. They can level up 5 times, which increases their stats. It doesn't actually increase their damage on their attack or their buff, but it's pretty cool. They do level up. They have their own XP bar. They also have their own HP bar, which as you attack enemies or as you get attacked, that HP bar starts to go down. So throughout the run, at certain points, you're going to see me refresh battalions. What that does is it just heals all my battalions to full. Just because if they die, then you lose the stat buff and you lose the ability to do the special attack. Alright, so we're moving into chapter 3. This is like another, like these first few chapters are just like super hard to optimize. They have a lot of RNG, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Pretty much this is the Magdred ambush. This is the only Fog of War map in the speedrun. And what we need to do is we need to basically get up to the upper left corner after we kill the dude that's causing the fog. So there's a dark mage hiding in this bush. We're just gonna like rain on his parade right now. Just hop in here and kill him off because we need the fog to go away. This is a weird map because the trigger for victory doesn't happen until you kill this guy. You can run all the way up to the far left and just nothing will happen. So then this guy spawns, this is Lenato, and we need to work our way up and go kill him. So you're going to see me using mostly gauntlet attacks through here. Again, it's the best early game weapon. Right there, I just unlocked the ability to use the steel gauntlets that I bought earlier. Those are just a tier up from the iron gauntlets, so I'm going to be using those for the remainder of the battle. This guy up here is affectionately referred to as the unkillable axe guy. He has a ton of health, he has a ton of armor, and I get super lucky and I crit him. So this is something that I'm going to always try once in a run. Like, you always have to go for it. If you don't crit him, like, he's going to kill you. You're screwed. But you can go hide in the bush. Bushes in this game, they provide a bonus to evasion. So we want to like put Byleth in the bush, and she's just going to sit there and hopefully evade a bunch of attacks. But you go for the kill there. Like you have to go for it. It also pulls the two enemies that are near the boss a little bit closer, and you can see right there that's a gold split for me. That was a super quick fight. If you don't go for it, it takes a little bit longer, but it is much safer. So yeah, that fight is like, it's weird. It's really weird. It's hard to optimize, and it's just crazy. So yeah, this run has been basically my baby for the past like 2 weeks. I originally routed it out. I had like a 2:30 time, and then we've been bringing it down. Jello Knife, he's been the one that's like, he did a lot of the strats for this run. Some of the strats came from the Japanese runner that put out his speedrun 2-3 weeks ago, but then Jello has been the one that's been doing a whole lot of optimization on the various like actual chapter strats. Yeah, so it's been really cool. Like I said, my initial run was about 2:30, and now we're down. This run winds up being, it clocks in at like 1:37, which is like almost an hour faster than the initial run. We were able to, originally I had 2 grind sections, which are just super slow. So basically you have to get to professor level C. Professor level in this game, you can get it via like eating with your students, via gardening, via answering their questions correctly. All of those are just slow options. But you'd have to get to C. In this game, you can adjunct a character, which basically puts them like underneath your character's wing, and they gain XP with that character, but then they don't die because we have all low-level characters. If we just throw them into combat, they're gonna die. So the original run got Professor level C, which took forever, and we've cut all of that out ever since. And it just makes this speed run like it's super tight. A lot of the strategies, like you blow through these maps super fast, and I just really enjoy the state that this run is in. All right, here's chapter 4. Don't blink, you might miss it. It's a very quick chapter. Pretty much all we're gonna do. I bought a bow in the last chapter to kill exactly 3 enemies. 2 of them are in this chapter. We're going to be using the bow to kill that left enemy, so it doesn't come and kill Edogard. I think she's level 3 at the moment, so she's not like super high. You need to kill this enemy from a range, so you don't pull the other enemy up there. It's like a super, like, it's a little, the positioning is very tight. That guy has a gambit that will basically just root you and get rid of your gambit. So it's like, it's pretty dangerous, and you just don't want to have that happen. Getting rooted is slow. You want to be moving up and taking out your map objectives. So we had to kill the commander right there, and this is going to give us the Sword of the Creator. So the Sword of the Creator is Byleth's relic weapon. We're going to be using, there's two relic weapons in this speedrun. Sword of the Creator is Byleth's. It's a unique sword. It's pretty cool. It gets to attack from 2 range. It has pretty high speed and pretty high might. It's an okay sword. It's unique because weapons in this game have durability, where if they break, you have to repair them. Sword of the Creator, it gets repaired every time you rest. Now, when we skip ahead, like an entire chapter, you are automatically resting on every single free time. So it's pretty handy that when you go fast and you skip things, your Sword of the Creator gets repaired, and it'll be basically our primary weapon for the remainder of the game. We will still be using gauntlets. Gauntlets are better on, there's going to be a couple of bosses coming up that it's just way better to use your gauntlets because you're going to 4x them. But then Sword of the Creator is really going to be the meat and potatoes of this run. This run does have a breakpoint that I miss, where I don't have enough strength on Byleth. So it gets a little bit hairy, and the weapon is like pretty inadequate, pretty inadequate, but it's okay. We wind up making it work. The Golden Deer run actually winds up using Thunderbrand, which is another relic weapon, but we can't get that in the Black Eagles run. You just can't recruit the character that it's on. Like, you can get it in chapter 18, like the very, very last chapter. But other than that, we don't wind up getting it. It's kind of a pain, but we make it work. Alright, so we're going to continue our run. This is the worst fight and basically it's the longest fight in the early game. I wouldn't say it's the worst fight. So this is the Conan Tower Bandit Hunt. Basically, the map is a giant spiral, and we have to work our way up. In other routes, you're able to warp up and just get to the boss and kill him immediately. We did some testing, and unfortunately, it is almost impossible to get warp before this fight. You can do it, it's slower. It's way, way slower. You have to do a whole bunch of Monastery junk. You have to do a grind fight or two, and it's not faster. So we're gonna go all the way up this spiral. And again, Jello is the one that did a lot of the strategies for this game, for the various maps, and he found a path that you can take that it kind of staggers the enemies a little bit better. Because if you go and you hug the wall the entire time, you're gonna pull all of the dudes out of the middle, and they're gonna all mob you at once, which is almost certain death. If Byleth's pretty buff right now, she can take on quite a few guys. But if she gets mobbed by 15 of them, she's just gonna die. So we want to take it a little bit slow. You can see me here. I'm making a pretty intentional wide circle around this spiral as to not pull those middle guys. Alright, so we're gonna be working our way around. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward chapter. We gotta work our way up to the boss up here. And yeah, I'm gonna take a quick water break here. So 1 second. Alright, so you can see there I have that little purple overlay on. That's a cool feature of the game. You can see what the aggro radius of the various mobs are. So right there, I positioned Byleth into a place that nothing was going to hit her. And again, I'm basically looking at the aggro range of the guys that are up in the center area. Because I don't want to pull them all at once. I want to kill these archers first. So archers are kind of a pain for Byleth to deal with right now. She has a ranged attack with Sword of the Creator, but there's so many guys that are attacking and she's counter-attacking that the Sword of the Creator durability is gonna get just chunked if I just leave it on her for too long. So I want to pull these a little bit slow, take out the archers. The archers we can't actually counter-attack. So that's why we have to focus them down, and then yeah, we're just gonna be working our way up this tower. You might see me use a bunch of potions here. I want to make sure that I'm full health going into the boss fight, and then these last few guys we can just completely skip. So right now, those guys up in the north, they're aggroed onto Gilbert. So Gilbert is our friend in this. He is one of the Knights of Saros. He is basically a follower of the church. The Knights of Saros protect the church. So he is down there. He's helping us on this mission by aggroing all of the dudes. This is Miklan. We gotta kill Miklan off. I attack Miklan from the range here because he can't counterattack. So you see there, like, his little purple square is only the adjacent squares, but that just means he can't counterattack me if I'm outside of his range. Alright, so here we go. We're going into a boss fight. So this is a lizard. It is a beast. It has 3 HP bars, so you can tell that by the number of diamonds. So each diamond is a new HP bar, and as the HP bars go down, the lizard is going to be gaining more and more health. You also see that there are 4 tiles, so this guy takes up 4 spots. The ones that are like right now, those solid tiles, they're unbroken, and then they get damaged, and then they can get broken. Just like progressively through damage or via a gambit, and you'll see more of these bosses pop up. So right there I broke that tile with my gauntlets, and then he went ahead and repaired it, which is one of the abilities of this boss. So yeah, we basically, for these, we want to break one tile and then just attack that tile, because you do more damage to an unbroken tile. I die right here, which I think is the first death of this run, but you wind up using Divine Pulse. Divine Pulse is an ability that is in this Fire Emblem game where you get a backup turns, so it's like your time, like your time rewind. So you can time rewind. I think at this point you only get like 3 or 4 time rewinds, but as you progress through the game, you get more of them, and you can change the outcome of what happens. So you'll see this used a lot a little bit later on in the run when we have to switch RNG. So RNG in this game is like, it's really weird and it's kind of hard to explain. But basically, if you do, when you load into a map, you get your RNG seed. The RNG seed is going to be different every single time, but you can go in and you can do the same actions on that RNG seed, and you will have the same exact outcomes every single time if you do them in the same order. Now, if you change the order at all, you're going to swap to a different seed. So none of this, like, we have no idea like what seed we're on, but I know if I go in and I attack and I miss with Byleth, okay, I'm like, okay, that's a guy that really needs to die. I don't want to miss. I can back it up and do an action with another character. The actions that change RNG are either they have to have a damage or a healing calculation. So you'll see me like backing up, doing like a random attack somewhere on the other side of the map, and then attacking again with Byleth to change the outcome. You could also just change the ordering. If I have like 3 things I need to do on a turn, I might just change the ordering of that. That becomes really important later on. You basically want to do whatever the least likely outcome is first. So you try it. If it happens, cool. Like, you had it happen. If it doesn't happen, you back it up and try something new. Alright, so we're moving into this is the third to last overworld section. Pretty much what we're doing here is we are grabbing a bunch of owl feathers. In this game, you can gift characters things, and when you gift people things, they like you more. So owl feathers are a very good, just generic gift to give people. We're going to pick up 4 of them on this section. And then we have to do the quest to unlock gifting. So we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be recruiting Shamir. Shamir is another Knight of Saros. She is the Archer Knight. When you recruit the Knights of Saros, they're actually really, really cool, because you get them at an advanced class. So Shamir, I believe in this case, is level 10, and she's a level 10 sniper, which is something that cannot happen like in the game. So they cheat a little bit, which is cool. We're going to be using her for a really cool strat coming up, and I switch her goals to just horses, which is something that's going to be relevant a little bit further down the line. So yeah, we're getting the quest right here. This is going to allow us to gift Edelgard some junk. We need to gift her these 4 owl feathers. So the route for this run, all of the support is routed. It's not like none of it should be randomized. There's a little bit of randomization in there, but basically, to get Edelgard to see support, we have to. I do an instruct on her at the very, very beginning of the game. That gives us 2 support, and then we do give her flowers on her birthday, which is one of the options when their birthdays pop up, and then we give her these 4 owl feathers. And that gives us the pop-up that Edelgard wants to talk to you, and we get that C support. There's a little trick that you can do to check to see if you got C support. When you are in the menu in the monastery, you'll have a little exclamation point next to support. Since I'm not building support with any other character, I know that could only possibly be that Edelgard needs to talk to me, and we can get to that C support. The reason that we need to get to C+, is this entire storyline is basically it's like a hidden side storyline. The actual Black Eagles route, this is the actual Black Eagles route, but if you were to not do any of like the relationship building stuff with Edelgard, you would default into the church route, which you side with the Church of Saros and you go and fight against Edelgard. So it splits like completely, which is really, really cool. But in this case, we're going to be doing the Edelgard route because Edelgard's cool. We want to be friends with Edelgard. But yeah, the story in this game is pretty cool. Like, so she basically wants to de-seat the church from its position of power. She thinks that the church has too much power and it's become corrupt. So she goes back home. She gets her armies and they go and do it. All right, so we're moving into chapter 6. We are moving right along. So this is the search for Flame. I buy Shamir a mini bow. So the mini bow is a very fast, very light bow, and it's going to allow Shamir to use her combat art curved shot through the wall and hit the Death Knight. So this is a two win condition map. You could either kill all of the enemies but the Death Knight, or you can kill the Death Knight. Killing the one enemy is faster than killing like the 30 others, so we wind up doing that. The mini bow is absolutely necessary here because if you had a faster bow, the Death Knight would have a 2x against Shamir because he's that much faster than her. So he would counterattack twice and just kill her. So we need to have a very light, it's a low damage bow, but it winds up working here. It takes 4 turns to kill him off. I got a little bit unlucky. If he crits her, you saw that right at the beginning. I Divine Pulsed back, did an action on the other side of the map with Byleth, and then went back and she didn't get crit. So it changed that RNG seed. It allows her to come in here and take out the Death Knight pretty no fuss, which is, this strategy was like super cool. Jello was sitting in my stream and he's like, try this. And I'm like, okay. Because I was originally just going all the way around the map and running and killing the Death Knight, but you have to go through like 9 teleporters. That map is like ridiculous. It takes so long. But yeah, and so we were able to kill the Death Knight just shooting through the wall with Shamir using a combat art. Okay, so this part, Flane is joining us. Flane is one of the church followers. She's pretty cool. We can't actually use her too much. She follows the church, which Edelgard is very anti-church, so we're not gonna be using her too much. There's some subtlety right there that you have to press the bottom option on all 3 of those, or else you get the little heart pop up that's like Flame likes you more, and that just wastes just a little bit of time. I don't think anybody's actually precisely timed it, but it pops up and it stays there for a second. So we want to make sure that we're mashing through that cutscene. And we're only mashing B because that won't auto-select the top option. Cutscenes in this game are pretty cool. Like for the ones that are forced, you can just mash A and B as fast as possible, and those text boxes will just keep going as fast as possible. So there's a little bit of mashing skill there to make sure that you're going as quickly as you can. I believe there's only like four cutscenes in the game that are completely forced. Every other cutscene you're like sitting there mashing plus to get through. There's a lot of mashing in this game. Additionally, for mashing, like whenever you do an attack, you can cancel its animation using A. When you are transitioning between player phase, ally phase, and enemy phase, you have to be mashing A the entire time, or those will sit on screen for a little while. Yeah, there's some cool speed tech, and it definitely separates players that have played the game for a while, that know where these things are, know where the cutscenes are, to be able to get out of those. Additionally, like if you have a speech bubble pop up during combat where like the other character's monologuing, you could hit plus out of that. You don't want to mash it too much though, because then it zooms on your character. I think I do that like once or twice in this run, but that wastes a little bit of time. So like, I'm going fast. Oh no, I'm going slow. Alright, so we are moving into the worst fight in the early game. This is Battle of the Eagle and Lion. So we had that mock battle in the beginning where we fought against the other houses. This is that, just on a bigger scale. So you're on a bigger map, you have more units available to you. So everybody, the other houses on this map, they have all of their characters whereas like we take our 3 in. We're just like, okay, we're sending in Byleth and Edelgard and Flame, and we're gonna take on the world. It's gonna be great. This is when I find out that my Byleth stats are awful. Byleth usually one-shots that guy that's like right at the bottom of the stairs, but this Byleth is just not good. I like at this point, if I was going like, I mean, this is a very good run. It winds up turning around a little bit later, but if I was like really grinding for a low time, I would just reset right here because this Byleth is just garbage. I wind up having to do a backup later on that's like, oh, it's so janky. It's not even fun. But a lot of like most of these maps, they do have backups that you can do that like just allow you to basically drag any character kicking and screaming through them. So right here, Flame is our heal bot / our cannon fodder. So she's here to take a little bit of pressure off Byleth as well as to heal her up. Some of these students are like absolutely brutal. They can just like one-shot you from full HP, and it's just like, it is just not fun at all. So you're gonna see me sitting hiding in this bush for like the entire beginning of this fight. Like I said, bushes give you a bonus to dodge, so this is our safety bush. We just want to like hang out in it and let everybody come to us. So yeah, we have some of the other students up here. Like Hilda's a monster. She can one-shot you if you're not careful. Ferdinand right there. He's a mounted unit, and he likes to like run all over the place. Additionally, we want to be like positioned right here, because aggro in this game works based off proximity, and if any of these guys aggro into Edelgard, they're just going to kill her. This map requires Edelgard and Byleth to be alive at the end, so if you do get Edelgard killed, you have to Divine Pulse back and like pick a different set of actions. And if it was like somebody snuck around and you didn't see them, you have to go back like 5 turns, because, oh, that's where they went. Okay. It's really hard to keep track of all the various NPCs on this map. It's like, this is an awful map, but you can get good at it. Like, I have had more consistent times with it since I like sat down and grinded it for a good little while. So right here we have Felix. Felix doesn't like to move. So basically this map is in every route, but you're playing as a different house. And every house has like their own characters that just don't do things. So like Claude is on this map as well, where he basically sits in his corner and he does nothing. So right here I'm aggroing Felix. Claude has his like 3 little bowmen, and right now I'm worried that those bowmen are gonna like just go and beeline Edelgard, which is what they're trying to do. So I have to make sure that I'm positioning myself properly to where the bowmen will actually aggro onto Byleth and not just go for Edelgard. So right here I'm just like, okay, I ditch Felix. I don't care about him anymore. I'm gonna be moving to the middle so these guys don't just go and like kill Edelgard. I'll go back and kill Felix a little bit later. Not a big deal. So yeah, but like this fight, you can lose minutes on it if you get a bad pattern. This game is actually pretty forgiving when it comes to like the different things that you can do. Since we are playing on the normal mode, you can retreat from battle at any point, and it'll just like restart the battle. Except you keep the XP that you gained during the battle, which is really handy, because then you go into the battle like a little bit better. So that makes this game pretty marathon safe. It does autosave like every 15 seconds too. Like every loading screen it autosaves. So anytime like something gets screwed up, it's like, okay, I can go reload the autosave, not a big deal. But I don't know, I've been getting pretty consistent with the route, and it's not too bad. So we're over here, we're killing Claude. You want to pull him from as far away as possible, and I basically just run up and one-shot him with gauntlets, because gauntlets are very good early game. So yeah, that's the Eagle and Lion. That is like the terror of early game. Yeah, you can just lose so much time on that map. It is awful. But yeah, and it's also a route map, so I didn't really mention like the different map objectives before. So you have route, which is kill everybody. You have kill the commander, and then you have get to the point. There's 0 get to the point maps in this story. There are in like the Prologues, which are like the side stories that you can unlock and do various things with. And then most of the later on maps are kill the commander, and then some of the maps have like different triggers which change what the map objective is. And you'll see that a little bit later on as well. I'll try to make a note to point those out, but there's so much to talk about. Like this route is crazy, and I really enjoy it. This is my first Fire Emblem game that I've actually speedrun, and it is amazing. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game casually, and then it was like, oh, cool, this guy already has a speedrun out for it, and it's pretty good. So we're gonna try to emulate that, and we did, and that's like, okay, let's cut a bunch of stuff and make it faster. But yeah, so we're gonna be just kind of working our way through here. These next few fights are fairly scripted. The next one, Investigate Remire. My Byleth is really bad, so I actually wind up, it's usually a 3-turn map. I wind up taking like 5 or 6, because it's just, this Byleth is awful. She just does not have enough strength to one-shot anybody. But yeah, so we're working our way through. You see like the little Byleth, like little anime Byleth, like moving throughout the map, moving throughout the calendar. So basically what we're doing is you start at the beginning of the month, and you can just select on the calendar what day you want to skip to. It'll automatically turn all free times into rest, which increases your students' motivation, which makes it so they can learn better during their instruction time. And then it also repairs your Sword of the Creator by 5. So in any given month, you get between 15 and 20 repairs. You don't wind up needing any of them. It's like not a big deal. Yeah, so we're moving into Investigate Remire. This map is one that the map objective actually changes on. So what we're going to be doing is using Stride, which you've probably been seeing a couple of different uses of. In this case, we're going to be striding everybody, but I'm not going to be using everybody. We need to get Shamir up here. Shamir is literally only going to be here so she can get Stride onto Violet. The Stride Battalion kind of goes out in a cross from your target. It goes out 3 tiles in either direction, and then 2 like the diagonals. Like, yeah, so Shamir is going to get in a position where Edelgard can stride her, so I don't have to bring in Edelgard all the way to Byleth, because right now Byleth is in like a little bit of a precarious position. There's a bunch of enemies around, and Edelgard is still level 3, so I don't want Edelgard to die, because this is another map that if Edelgard dies, you lose. So yeah, we're working our way up here. This is bad. This is what happens if you have a low strength Byleth. You basically have to sit here and work your way through these big armored guys, and it just takes forever. I actually have Dorothea die there, because, again, normally this is a 3-turn map, and that guy that's in the back is just, like, causing hell for me, so I need to go back a couple turns. I need to fix that, so I think I just wind up healing Dorothea here with Flame. Yeah. Alright, so she gets healed up, and we're good to go. So now we just, like, let Byleth slowly chunk her way through these big, stupid armored guys. On turn 3, this turns to a Kill the Commander map. So we have Solon right here. He's been the one that was orchestrating all this junk. I don't actually one-shot him right there, which is bad. Like, this Byleth does not have a lot of strength. But it's okay, you just take 2 turns. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it does waste some time. This is just a backup for this map if you wind up having bad strength growths. It's not too big of a deal. So yeah, that's the Remire Calamity. So what's happening at this point in the story is there's a whole bunch of weird stuff happening. So we're having like all of these people that are just getting terrorized by, like, there's basically a plague coming down. So there's like zombie people that are getting attacked there, and Solon was the one that was basically the general of that area, and he was the one that was causing all that weird stuff to happen. We're going to be seeing even more weird stuff happen here. It originally started back in Chapter 5 when we had that big lizard, like, that guy turned into a lizard. What? That's weird. So yeah, that's going to be happening more. Yeah, and we find out who's causing it about halfway through the game, and it's pretty fun. So right here, this is the Dancer chapter. This chapter is where you unlock the secret Dancer role. It's super secret. You're never gonna find it. But yeah, we basically have to come in here. We're going to be recruiting a couple of different characters. So we're going to grab Manuela right here. Manuela is one of the other staff. She is the Faith and Sword user. She's going to be a white mage for the remainder of the run. We're going to switch her goals over to Just Reason. I need to go pick up the quest to get the Dancer here. So it's the White Heron Cup. We're going to go pick that up from Rhea here. She's going to tell us what we need to do. We need to basically nominate a student to become a Dancer. We're going to pick up Hanneman. Hanneman is another professor. He is the Black Mage, and he will remain a Black Mage for the rest of the run. He has a special ability called Rally Magic, which is actually really, really useful, and we're going to be using it. It basically increases a character's magic stat by 4. 4 is a really important number in this run because warp range, so there's a spell called Warp, which does what you think it would do. It warps a character. It warps a character ahead. The magic divided by 4. So if you are in increments of 4, you get an extra warp range. So yeah, his rally magic is very important. This is Sylvan. Sylvan right here, he is our friend, the womanizer. He loves the ladies. That's why we are female main character in this run. You get to recruit him for free. And now, handily, to win the White Heron Cup, you have to have 14 charm. And when you recruit Sylvan in Chapter 9, he has exactly 14 charm. So this is like the first big roadblock that we ran into in routing. I got to this chapter and you don't get Flame. Like, Flame doesn't stay with you. So in the other run, you just use Flame. She has 16 charm, and you're good to go. So I'm like, oh, how are we gonna solve this problem? Well, we have Dorothea. Like, Dorothea she's very charismatic. She has good charm growths, but you actually have to level her, which I don't want to do. Like, leveling people's slow. So you'd have to level her up, and she'd have to get some more charm. But we eventually, like, I asked the Discord, and someone had the amazing idea of recruiting Sylvan. So I went and redid a file as a female main character, recruited Sylvan, and lo and behold, he wins the dance contest every single time because he has 14 charm. So that's just like a super, super handy like coincidence. It was like, oh, this is really cool. That's a good strategy. Nice job. So yeah, we also got our Edelgard C+ support there. That is like the breakpoint that you want to hit so you can unlock her story as opposed to the church story. If you were like doing normal gameplay, Edelgard would probably be at like B or B+ here. Like, we just never talk to her because you don't need to. We just give her a bunch of stuff and she's like, okay, you can come join me, I guess. I guess that's cool. Yeah, so we have the dance contest here. Sylvan wins by a landslide because he's Sylvan. He's awesome. I really find some poetic justice in making the character that is the womanizer, the dancer for the run. But yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so we're moving on. We're doing the White Heron Ball right here, just skipping some cutscenes. All of this is like most of the cutscenes in this game are skippable. You're just sitting there mashing plus. There are a handful that are not that you have to mash through the text boxes, but they're few and far between. So it keeps the pace of the run going pretty good. And at this point, we only have one more exploration section, which is like what really slows the run down. So we're gonna kind of be blitzing through the remainder of the chapters. This run ends in about 50 minutes, and it's just all combat until then, which is awesome. So we're moving into Salvation at the Chapel. This is one of the more nuanced levels. There's a couple of strats that you can do on it. I personally go for one that's a little bit... I don't know that it's actually slower, just because it takes more turns. So this is like a 6-turn kill as opposed to like an ideal 4-turn kill, but you're doing a lot less actions with your characters. So by not needing as much setup, I believe it's faster. Yeah, if you have really good menuing, really good overworld movement, like you might be able to get the 4-turn faster. But I really like this strategy. It's very safe, so that's the one I'm going to be winding up. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to wind up going with. So right here, we're going to go ahead and stride like every other chapter. That's the big thing that we could use to break early game. It gives you a whole bunch of movement. You're able to do ridiculous things that like you shouldn't be able to do, like charging down some of these longer levels. So yeah, you see here we're hitting the broken tiles with Byleth. Yeah, so Byleth is just going to be taking out this lizard, and then we're going to be moving on. Again, my strength growth is just awful here. Normally you want to see about a 25 to 27. My Byleth is at 23, but there's lots of backups available. You just need an extra action with Manuela right there to finish him off. Geralt is present in this. Geralt is your dad. He's helping you out with this mission. NPCs in this game are a little weird, but you can kind of force him to whatever side you want. So I kind of split this map in my mind to have the top section, which has 3 lizards, and the left section, which has 1 lizard. In this case, I really want Geralt to go over to the left section and help out Shamir over here. Shamir is still pretty under-leveled for this area. Like, she's not... We haven't grinded her at all, and this is starting to get a little bit into the mid-game. So she really needs the help of Geralt over here to finish off this lizard. I also sent Hanneman over to help her. He's a pretty good black mage. He does some pretty decent damage for his level. And then the rest we're just going to kind of clean up with Byleth and Sylvan. Dancers in this game, I mentioned that we got one, but I didn't mention why they were good. So dance is like one. I consider there to be like 3 big things that break this speedrun. Dance is the first one, Warp is the second one, and Stride is the third one. So once we get that like trifecta, we just blow through maps like as quickly as possible. Flying is also very, very good, and we wind up using that. So what dance does is, you see right here, Sylvan basically gets to give a character another action, which just becomes so broken when you have your carry character that is your carry character that's basically just acting twice every single turn, which is like super, super cool.
Sorry.
Sorry for that notification. I forgot to turn them off for this run, which is unfortunate because this is a very good run, and I'm gonna want to put it on my YouTube. So yeah, Byleth cleans up the fight there. Here we get an energy drop, which is a item that gives you a permanent stat boost of 2 strength. All of the physical damage in this game is based off of your strength. So I wind up using that on Byleth, which is really, really unideal. You want to put it on Edelgard. She's the one that's going to be doing the big heavy lifting late game, and you want her to have as much strength as possible. But there's a really important range that you have to hit with Byleth, or you cannot 2-turn one of the maps, and it just becomes so slow if you don't 2-turn it. Like the backup is like 4 or 5 turns, and it's just, I'm not going to do it. I would rather my run die to using the energy drop on Byleth than to 5-turn that map. It's just so bad. So I wind up using the energy drop on Byleth in the next chapter, and I do wind up hitting the range, and I get lucky in the late game. So it's always better to be lucky than good, right? In a marathon setting, I would just use it on Edelgard, and I would do the 5-turn backup. Not a big deal. Alright, sorry, there's been so much talking. So we basically got our party together. We have Manuela, we have Hanneman, we're going to eventually recruit Alois, who is another knight. This run gets so many more characters than the Golden Deer route. You wind up needing a lot of them. There's also a very, very handy thing that happens. So like Alois and Shamir, they're both Knights of Saros. The Knights of Saros are allied with the church. They're basically the church's goons. The church likes to use them, send them out to do their bidding. Yeah. Since we're siding with Edelgard, we're going to be going against the church. Now, Alois and Shamir actually appear on a map as bosses a little bit later on. If you recruit them, they don't. They get replaced by basically a generic commander unit with like not even anywhere near the same amount of stats as Alois and Shamir. So Shamir was very handy to get to kill the Death Knight. Alois we literally only recruit to replace a dude on a map 3 chapters down the line. So right here, this is the Sealed Forest Snare. We have Kranya. Kranya is a giant pain. So there's 2 commanders on this map that we have to kill. The second one appears when we kill the first one. This setup was like super clutch. The original speed run of this game, you wound up getting Bishop, which is a advanced class on whoever your warper was. So in the Golden Deer case, it was Lysethia. In this case, it'd be Lindhart. And you would use a warp to get over this forest. Forest is like the tiles, they reduce your speed, you can't move as many. So we're going to wind up using our stride here to kind of blitz through this forest instead of using that second one, because Bishop is slow. You need level 20, you have to grind that up, and it just takes forever. So we're not going to do that. We're going to use stride, and we're going to get through here. So Kranya, we have to unequip our weapon. That might seem a little counterintuitive, but we're going to use our Gambit on her. So like I said, battalions, they have that special attack. They have their Gambit. We're going to be using our Gambit because she has like ridiculous dodge, and Gambits have a really high hit rate. They have like an 80% hit rate as opposed to my Sword of the Creator, which has like a 20 to 30% hit rate on Kranya. It's like really low. So we Gambit her, we unequip our weapon, because all of this is happening on the same turn. You're going to go through some cutscenes, you're going to merge with Sothis, who is yeah, it's a crazy story. But you merge with Sothis, and you become more powerful. You become the Enlightened One. But anyway, you unequip your weapon because if she attacks you on the enemy turn, she counterattacks and kills herself. Then all of the enemies are acting after her. Usually commanders will act first on enemy turns. So she would act, and then all of these enemies around her would also act. But by unequipping that weapon, then I get to act before these enemies, which means I get to clear them out. So right now, Lindhart is like he's level 1 at this point. He's like he's a wet paper bag. He just dies. So in order to protect Lindhart, he's like vital to this strategy. We have to make sure that we don't kill it on the enemy turn. So you see here warp. We're using warp to get up this cliff. This cliff is like super wide, so we also have to use rally magic to give him an extra range because Lindhart is not a very good student. Lindhart does not learn magic very well. He has like, I think at this point he has 11 magic, which is just awful. So Lindhart, he's just not very good. So we have to use rally magic. Hanneman has to give him a little boost so we can get over that wall and kill off the last commander of that map. So yeah, originally there was a 2 warp strat for that map. We had to cut that because getting 2 warps is slow. yeah, I don't believe we actually use 2 warp anywhere else in this run. It's not needed. So yeah, we're moving on. We're trucking right along. Alright, so we are coming up on quite possibly one of my favorite maps. So this is Conflict in the Holy Tomb. This is when stuff hits the fan. So story-wise, this is when the big plot twist is revealed. So if you haven't played this game and you want to not spoil yourself, spoiler warning. Actually, everything past here is a spoiler. So basically what's going to happen is we go recruit Alois so we can replace him on another map a little bit later. And then we go and talk to Edelgard, who's going to unlock her story for us. So what happens is Edelgard goes back to Enbar, which is the imperial capital, and she becomes the empress. She succeeds her father and is now the new empress of her armies. And then she now uses that newfound power to invade Garreg Mach, which is the monastery. What she is very interested in is the crest stones. Crest stones are they basically give a unit an additional power. So Byleth bears the Crest of Flames, it gives you an additional attack every now and then. So she starts to invade the monastery, because what the monastery is doing is they are taking these crest stones from people. They're stealing them from people. So she thinks that is bad and corrupt. Her whole backstory is very tragic. She had that happen to her siblings, and it's not cool. So she wants to stop that from happening. So she uses her newfound power. She brings her army in, and they invade Garreg Mach. They want to take these crest stones. They want to take them away from the church, and they want to stop the church from using them. So the big twist is the Flame Emperor is Edelgard. She's been the one that's been orchestrating all these weird things that have been happening. She's been the one that's kind of been poking and prodding the bear, just trying to get them to react. So now we decide to side with Edelgard because we think Edelgard's a cool person. We think her cause is righteous, and we want to advance her cause. So for some reason, you still have to defeat Edelgard here. But if you talk to her, you know it is Edelgard. On all of the other storylines, it is still the Flame Emperor, and you don't figure it out until after you've defeated them. They don't actually die in this, but yeah. So you go defeat the Flame Emperor. This strategy for this map is the 2-turn one that I mentioned earlier. The backup is like 5 turns, and it's just super slow. So what we have to do here, it is a very, very, very tight positioning. This works all to within 1 tile, which I like. I love maps like that. There's just like, oh, this works, and we get a 2-turn in. So pretty much what's going to happen is there's 2 armored knights we have to deal with, 1 mage, and a lizard we have to avoid. So the 2 armored knights we're going to be taken out with Hanneman and with Byleth. So Hanneman is the professor. He's our black mage. Mages do really, really good damage to armored units, so he's super useful for that. We're going to be giving Shamir Stride. She's going to be our Stride bot for the rest of the game. We gave her Horse earlier, and that's all. It becomes important, believe me. So we give her Stride, and we're going to be setting up our 2-turn kill here. So we have the 2 armored guys. They're going to get taken out, and then we have the mage. So Manuela, in this chapter, she has Silence. Silence basically just stops the mage from casting its abilities. This particular mage he has a gambit that will root you and make you lose your gambit, which just ruins our entire strategy. So we want to make sure that he is silenced. Then we go ahead and stride Lindhart and Sylvan up, so we can set them up to do another warp shenanigans. Here I actually I danced the wrong side of Byleth. Again, it's tight to within 1 tile, so I have to back that up and do it again, because if Sylvan's out of position, it's just not going to work. So Byleth comes in here, kills this. This positioning is exactly on the edge of this lizard's range. That's like just off screen. You can't see the lizard. That lizard has Seal Strength, which is like awful. This Byleth already has bad stats. Seal Strength reduces your strength by, I think this one is 6. So I just wouldn't be able to kill Edelgard, which then just makes me go to the backup, which takes forever. Yeah, so we're going to kill Edelgard once. That's also why I used the energy drop in the last chapter. Linhardt's a bad student, so we have to rally him. We use our stride here. We have to position Hanneman in that exact spot, or that stride doesn't hit all the people it needs to hit. We go ahead and dance Byleth after moving her south, and then we warp her over this little ledge right here. It's coming. Alright, yeah, Linhardt's going to warp her over the ledge, and we're going to go ahead and just take out Edelgard, stopping her from stealing the crest stones. Alright, so what happens here is Rhea is going to pop in. Rhea is the leader of the church. She's going to be like, alright, cool, you defeated Edelgard. Now you must kill her. And whoa, that went from 0 to 60 really quick. I'm not going to kill Edelgard. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to stop you. I don't want Edelgard to die. Edelgard's my friend. So yeah, we're gonna protect Edelgard. You must protect because she attack. Yeah, we gotta protect. So we protect Edelgard. Yeah, so Edelgard's cool. We want Edelgard to stay alive. All right, and then we're gonna continue our invasion of Garreg Mach. So this upcoming map is the Battle of Garreg Mach. This is actually like where there's a bunch of revisionist history in this game. So like at the very end of the game on the credits, you get a post game. What are your students doing? Like you've grown with them, you've learned about their backstories. It's like, what are they doing after all of these events? Well, all of our students died in a canyon like 2 weeks in. So yeah, but when you actually reach the late game, it says that all of these students died defending Garreg Mach, which is like, but no, they died in the canyon. I assume like the game just doesn't think that you're gonna be killing them off like super early. Like if you kill them off in a later game chapter, it'll list like what chapter they died on and like their battle like history, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, if they die before this point, they died defending Garreg Mach. This map is really interesting as well. This is one that we played with for a while. Well, I played with for a while. It has 3 commanders on the map, and then once you kill those 3 commanders, it shifts to another commander that you have to kill. So you have, I believe it. Yeah, it's Gilbert. Gilbert over on the left. He's an armored knight. He has a ton of armor. He's like impossible to kill. He's just a pain. You have Flane over on the right. So this is why Flane leaves you. She wants to go support the church. And you have Sedith in the middle. He is Flane's brother. He is a mounted, I believe he's a lance, a Pegasus knight. But yeah, so the objective of this map is to kill all 3 of these commanders. I only have like 1 unit that's combat ready. Everybody else is kind of bad. They just, they're not very high level. They just don't really do a whole lot. So we basically just send Byleth up the gut, we kill Sedith, and we're just going to charge. We're charging it down. We are going to invade Garreg Mach with our 1-man army of Byleth. This map is actually pretty scary. There's like these Pegasus Knights that just like deal a ton of damage. And my Byleth is bad, so I'm like super worried here. But you can take it safe. And you see here, I want to make sure that I attack him from the side. If I attack him from the front, all 3 of those Pegasus Knights behind him will pull, and they can just take you out in a turn. I want to make sure that doesn't happen, that I have a chance to heal up between those turns, just in case. Here I'm mashing plus, and if you over mash plus, you lose time. You zoom in. It's a whole lot of fun. There's that Pegasus Knight down south. She's trying to beeline Edelgard, but thankfully Shamir's an archer, and archers are very good against flying units. So Shamir can defend Edelgard here. I don't have to like bring Byleth all the way back. So right here, apparently this drawbridge is a door. All the doors and all the chests in this game have skeleton keys, which is a little bit weird to me. It's like, okay, why are all the doors have the same lock? That's kind of strange. But they do. So you're able to use the door key right there. You lower down the drawbridge, and it turns out on turn 12, Rhea spawns, and Rhea is the actual commander that you have to kill to complete the map. So she's going to come in. She's going to bring in a bunch of goons. Byleth is already in position. It's like, hey, and we're going to go ahead and kill Rhea off. I don't think she actually dies in this. I think I have to try again. Yeah, okay. So I have to back it up. I can use Shamir to reset my RNG on one of these handy-dandy Pegasus Knights that just spawned. And we're going to go ahead and reset the RNG. I believe what happened there is Sword of the Creator is a 2x. It has to hit both times because Byleth's strength is just not enough. So this Sword of the Creator has to hit twice, and it missed once. So I just go ahead and back that up. We use an RNG reset, and we're moving right along. Okay. So what's happening now is Byleth gets knocked out, and she's out for the entire time skip. So we're going to be advancing time. Here. What happens during the time skip is any character you have that is under the level of 20 will get automatically leveled to 20. Now, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I was kind of rushed when I was doing it. So they all get leveled to 20, which is cool. But Edelgard, she is special. She will get classed to Armored Lord, which has a base stat of strength, in particular, is the one that we care about, that is 3 higher than her Lord class. So she will automatically get level 1 Armored Lord, which bumps her strength up by 3. And then she's going to do all of the rolls for levels 1 through 20 at the Armored Lord growth rates, which are, I believe, 10% higher than her normal growth rates for strength and for speed, which is the 2 that we actually care about. So she just becomes a beast, because that should not happen. Armored Lord is a class that you're not supposed to get until level 20. So during all of this like time skippy nonsense, we are Edelgard's getting really, really good. She's getting swole. She went to the gym a lot. She's definitely kept it up. So now that all my characters are level 20, we can put them on classes that are better than what they had before. So Edelgard, we made her we set her goals to flying and axe a little bit earlier. We're going to make her a Wyvern Rider. Flying in this game is like busted. There's so many maps in this game that like they try to constrict your movements with buildings or with like brush that like slows you down. There's a lot of barricades, but flyers just go over all of that. So it's really, really handy to have your carry on a flyer. The Golden Deer route does that as well. Claude is a natural flyer. He doesn't actually need to like do anything special for it. We go ahead and class Lindhart and Manuela to bishops. So bishop has a bonus of +2 magic. We're going to be using them for warp a little bit later on, and we want their warp range to be as large as possible. So just by switching their class, they get an extra +2 to magic, which is like half of a warp range. So if they were like teetering on that a little bit, it can give that extra little boost. So like Manuela right here, she has 14 magic. She's going to get that boost, and she's going to go up 1 warp range. Alright, Shamir, we're going to put her on a Cavalier. Not actually for the combat stats. Cavaliers are generally used like lances. She's going to continue to use a bow because she's our archer, and she's cool. So, but she's our stride bot. So it's mounted units in this game, so flyers and like horse riders. They get an ability called Canto. Canto is really important. You basically get to take an action, and then you get a move after your action, still within like your movement constraints. So if you can move 7 tiles, you can move 3, do an attack, and then move 4. Having Canto on the Strider is really important because after we stride people, they tend to run off, right? They like run to the other side of the map and do their thing. But there's a couple of 2-turn, 3-turn setups in this run that we have to do that require the Strider to be close to the group again after they take off. So she's going to be able to use her stride and then move closer to the group to be able to stride again. You get 2 uses out of all these battalions. This is the biggest menu in the game. Basically what we're going to be doing right here is selling all the useless junk on Byleth and Edelgard, buying them some time-appropriate weapons, because now we're in the future. We gotta have some better weapons. We can't be using those iron golems anymore. Those are garbage. We need good weapons. They still have their relic weapons. Edelgard gets Amir as her relic weapon. And I will be talking about Amir a lot as we move on. We're also going to be buying her a Brave Axe and a Silver Axe. Brave Axes innately have an innate bonus to speed, so they'll be 4xing most enemies, except for the very fast enemies, which they'll only be 2xing, but any other weapon will only be 1xing, which is really bad. So we like the Brave weapons. They're very, very good. So this map is this is the Great Bridge Coup. Pretty much all we do is we fly Edelgard over here, we dance her, and then she flies to the commander and kills the commander. hopefully. Sometimes this doesn't work out. It does on this run. Again, this is a very good run. So she winds up killing Judith right here, and the map is done. That's super easy. You also have Dorothea, who has a meteor. Meteor is a very long-range attack, so if that doesn't wind up killing Judith right there, we can just use the meteor to back that up. Okay, Amir. Amir is Edelgard's relic weapon. It is quite possibly the most broken of the relic weapons. It has a unique combat art, which I didn't talk about combat arts at all. They're basically just unique attacks that do different things. Shamir used Monster Blast earlier, which does extra damage to monsters. But Amir has Raging Storm. Raging Storm allows Edelgard to use it and then take another turn at the cost of 4 durability on Amir. Amir has 20 durability, so we get 5 uses of Raging Storm out of it. Now, when I initially routed this, I was like, okay, the final boss is really, really hard. She has a lot of HP. I'm going to need basically all of my Amir uses on the final boss. So I routed out the entire post-time skip section of using all of my Amir charges on the final boss.
Great.
Turns out you can do these maps a lot faster if you're using Amir, because Edelgard's a flyer, so between Fly and Stride and Dance and Amir, she can move across an entire map by like hopscotching dudes. Like she'll attack a dude, seemingly like a random guy in the middle of nowhere, just so she could reset her turn and go again. But anyway, so Jello found out that on Chapter 16, there's an enemy that has Agtherium, which is what you need to repair Amir. Amir is the only weapon in this game we repair, and it's kind of difficult to repair. You need these like super rare materials that conveniently drop off of this specific enemy. It's super jank, but I'm like so happy that it works because it speeds up these maps so much. So we wind up having 10 uses of Amir because we repair it once. We thought about repairing it twice, and it's just like, this is not worth it. Like you barely use it. You barely use it 10 times. But you do want to do these strategies that like kind of speed things up as fast as you possibly can. Again, most of these are kill the commander maps, so getting Edelgard and having her hopscotch off of units, it's really a convenient way of just finishing them off super, super quick. So this is Capturing Deridu. This map is a single kill the commander map. You have to take out Claude or invading his home city. So basically all we're going to do here is the general 3 ways that we break this game. We're going to be using our Stride, and following the Stride, we're going to be using our Warp. Manuela is using the Warp in this case. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can use either Linhardt or Manuela. Edelgard is going to be flying, using that extra strided range to a specific point. And then we're going to be dancing. So dance is the last thing that breaks this game. So we used Warp, we used Stride, we used Dance, and suddenly Edelgard is 3/4 of the way across the map. We're going to be using Raging Storm to reset her turn off of that random dude, and she's going to come in here and kill Claude. Just like that. You're actually given the option of killing or sparing Claude, which would be a fun donation incentive. You could definitely just be like, kill or save the Claude. But yeah, that map is just done in 1 turn. It's a super quick strategy. I love it. It's great. I'm kind of sad. My original strategy was like really complicated, and it was like you had to have perfect positioning to not let your units die, and you wound up warping Dorothea and your dancer over the wall, and she would meteor him from like the other side of the wall, and then use the dancer so she could meteor him again because 1 wasn't enough to kill him. But it was like 3 turns, and it took too long. So yeah, that strategy's gone. Now we just finish it in 1. That's how you save an hour on your initial routing. Oh, but yeah, we're moving on to the late game. So Edelgard in this, ideally, she would be at about 32 to 34 strength, exiting time skip. She needs to have 43 to hit a specific range on the last boss. Mine doesn't hit it. It's like, this is the point in the speedrun I'm like, oh please let me crit. Please let me crit. Just because this Edelgard, she's okay. Like, she was very, very average, but I had to use that energy drop on Violet early on. Normally that goes onto Edelgard, and she's able to hit these ranges a little bit easier. But that didn't wind up happening, and I'm doing backup strats. Hooray, backup strats. But yeah, it's a cool game thing, like game knowledge thing to know how to back up some of these things if your characters are garbage, because there is an innate amount of RNG with running a Fire Emblem game that you just have to deal with it. It is what it is. If I got frustrated by having a bad Edelgard, I probably wouldn't be running this game, but I think it's fun. It's fun knowing the backups. I really wish people would race me. I want to race more people, but that's okay. So we're moving on to what I affectionately call Garreg Mach 2.0. We are back in Garreg Mach. This is another multiple commander map. So on this map, you have 3 commanders. You would have Shamir if you didn't recruit her, but instead you have a generic archer unit. You have Sedith, who again is Flayn's brother. He's a mounted spear unit. And then you have our Alois replacement, who is just like an armored knight guy. But the Shamir replacement and the Alois replacement have much, much lower stats. So we can go ahead and take them out way easier. This map was a giant pain to route because there's a 4th commander that spawns if you take longer than 1 turn. Luckily, we're going to finish this map in 1 turn. Not a big deal. And then we're gonna just finish in 1 turn, so we only have to kill 3 commanders instead of 4. So yeah, Flame would pop up. She has 2 spawn locations on this map, which is just like bizarre to me. But she would pop up like either right here on the north side of the Alois replacement, and she's a pain to kill. So we don't do that. We use 1 Raging Storm on the Shamir replacement. We use 2 Raging Storms on Sedith, and then we head over and we Brave Axe the other dude in the face. You can see here like the power of Kanto, so we're Raging Storming right here. This is still the 2nd Raging Storm turn, and I'm able to use my entire movement for that turn because I didn't use it before. I was just standing there next to Sedith trying to kill him. So yeah, like she has super powerful movement abilities once you're able to get that stride off and that warp and the dance. So yeah, we're killing the dude here. I have like a brain fart here. I'm like, Axe of Zoltan. So we get Axe of Zoltan here. It is an important axe. It has a bonus damage to armored units. There's exactly 2 armored units that we need to kill, and we cannot kill them without that axe. So I was like brain farting, like, do I throw it away or no? No, you keep it. Yeah, you have to keep the axe. It's a good axe. So yeah, and the original strategy on that map was it was so bad. I had like a 7-turn setup where I was like slow pushing Byleth up the middle, and then having Edelgard off to the side, and you would spawn Flame, and you'd have to kill her too. And it was horrendous. Like all of your guys are only level 20, and that's like a level 30 map. But at this point, because like your difficulty curve just spikes at this point. It only has 6 chapters to climb to where it has to be in the Black Eagles route, as opposed to the Golden Deer route. Like you have 10 chapters where it has to actually get to the late game. But yeah, so Black Eagles is like, it's really, really cool. The difficulty spikes up super fast, just because it has to. So here, Edelgard unlocks Empress as her class. Sorry, it's Emperor. It's not even Empress. But yeah, so she gets to be the Emperor for a whole 3 seconds, and then we switch her back to her Wyvern Rider. Because we want flying. Flying is great. Alright, so you see here we have your students are asking you questions. Once you recruit professors, they become students, which I find really weird, but that's okay. They ask you questions. The questions were actually routed in for a good while because they have 3 answers. They have a bad answer, which gives you a little bit of professor points. They have a middle answer, which gives you more, and they have a best answer. So at one point in my guide, I had the correct answers to every single question that you could possibly be asked because you wanted to get the max amount of professor points so you could unlock things faster. But since that's been routed out, you just mash A and pick whatever the top answer is. There is a little bit of optimization to it. If you like intentionally pick the wrong answers, you can delay the pop-ups of the professor level thing coming up. So that's like a possible optimization that you could do, but it's a little bit too much for me. I don't think that'll ever make it into the run because then you have to like actually pay attention to what you're selecting, and it's like I don't know. I don't think that'll ever. It would be faster if you're quick at it, but I am not quick at it. I have to read. Alright, so we're moving on to the Siege of Arianhad. This map was the biggest nightmare to route ever. There's been like probably more reroutes on this map than any other map in this run. So this map you have 5 commanders you need to kill, and a couple of them are just absolute nightmares. So there's 2 right ahead of us. You have Rodrigue and you have Felix. Felix is like the speediest, dodgiest boy I've ever met. He dodges everything. He has guard, which is an ability that can reduce damage to him, and it's just like, it's not fun. It is not fun at all.
What's the plan?
But Edelgard goes in there, she kills Rodrigue. That usually happens. Like,
What's my strategy?
she has a pretty good chance to kill him. And then we're going to use a specific gambit right here. So I put the Supreme Armored Company on Byleth like 3 chapters ago, and the Supreme Armored Company has I believe it's a 5x2 box in front of it, and it'll root all the enemies in that box, which is going to be used here as well as on chapter 18, and it does damage to all of them. So it's a very good gambit. It has a big range. It also has some beneficial stats for Byleth, but that's completely secondary to the effect. We actually use auto battle here, which is one of the few uses of auto battle in this speedrun. We basically had Dorothea, Linhart, and Manuela just kind of chilling in the back. We use auto battle unite to pull them all up at once. It's a little bit faster. We have to stride Manuela here because we're going to use another auto battle unite because we just want to bring everybody up together. I don't want to go through and individually select all of them. Luckily, Byleth kills Felix right there. We do have a backup with Dorothea and Hanneman where they can come in and they can attack him. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain, but it's part of running the game. You have to deal with your RNG. These casters over here are a nightmare. So we specifically use Manuela to silence the left caster because the right caster is going to get rooted, and he's going to be rooted out of range of Byleth. So this is the dude that has the Agtherum that we need to repair Amir. We're going to be gambiting, getting rid of 1 tile right here. That gambit hits a big square. It's going to be damaging the other 3 tiles, and we're going to be using Dorothea's Meteor to finish off the back 2 tiles. And then when this thing counterattacks Byleth on the enemy turn, it's going to break that last tile, and we're going to get our sweet Agtherum so we can repair Amir. So we're down to our last 2 commanders already. That was quick. So Edelgard killed the guy on the left. He's one of the guys that you need the anti-armor axe for. And she's going to be moving up and pulling Ingrid. So Ingrid is a student in the Blue Lion's house, and she is a nightmare. She has so much speed. She can actually one-shot Edelgard. If you get unlucky, she just like takes her out. Right here, she didn't even hit Edelgard. What I really want to have happen is her to attack Edelgard, Edelgard counterattacks, and I use Edelgard's Gambit, which has a higher hit rate to kill Ingrid off. It didn't wind up happening very quickly, but that's okay. So I just kind of sit over here, I spam and turn until I get the outcome that I want, which is right there. So Ingrid attacks Edelgard, Edelgard counterattacks, and we are able to finish her off. Ideally, this map can be done in 4 turns. I think this was a 6 turn. It's not that much slower. But this is the point where we're getting to that in the late game that everybody is so under-leveled and the stats aren't very high that we're just having a hard time doing anything. So you have to have backups on backups in your head, and it just gets ridiculous. But it's a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game knowledge aspect and knowing how to back up certain things that happen, and just kind of knowing when to throw in the cards and retreat and try again. It's cool. Okay, we're down to 2 chapters left. This has been a journey. I really love this speedrun. I really hope that 3 Houses gets some consideration. It's been a lot of fun routing it out, and I think the reception of it will be pretty good. This game, I know, casually took me 40-45 hours to get through 1 story, and we blazed through them in under 2. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to be moving on to Combat at the Talian Plains. This is another map that was a nightmare to route because there's a lot of different triggers that are happening. So it is a kill multiple commanders map, which is the past few that we've been seeing. But some of those commanders aren't triggers. So there is when you first start the map, there are 3 commanders out. You have an armored mounted guy. I'm not sure what his name is. You have Daoud, who is another student, who is an armored menace, and he is crazy good. And then you have Dimitri, who is the leader of the Blue Lion's house. Now, Throughout the map, as you move Byleth up to the upper left, Mercedes spawns. She is another commander, another student. And as you move far enough to the right, Rhea spawns, who is the leader of the Church of Saros, and we need to take her out as well. Additionally, all of the like additional monsters on this map will turn into monsters. Like they start as like regular units, and via the crest stones they are turning into monsters. Daoud in particular, if you get in his range where you actually trigger that, he turns into a menace. It's like he's this giant thing that is like impossible to kill. So we want to make sure that we never trigger those. So we're going to be killing a monster directly to the right. It is just like a seemingly random mounted guy, but he turns into a lizard that just has 1 billion health. So we have to kill him turn 1. Then Daoud, he is also a monster, but we try to make sure that we never get into his range, which is massive. So we're going to use Edelgard to fly in and take him out. We have Dorothea for backup meteors. Like I said, meteors and ability. I don't think I used it on to get the Actarum, but it's really just used for backups in this run. Both Dorothea and Hanneman have meteor, so they can use it to just kind of finish off those damage ranges. This is a very specific positioning.
What's the plan?
I'm positioning them so they're out of the range of these 2 samurai guys here. I want both of these samurai guys to go onto Edelgard after she finishes this move. And then I'm going to have Manuela silence the guy in the middle who has basically a global range. So I can see where where the blind spots are in the defense. So there's like a little L that you're going to see right here where I'm going to position my characters so they don't aggro anything, because this is like a level 40 map and these guys are all level 20. They're going to get one shot.
What's my strategy?
So I gotta make sure to do that. And then we moved on. We killed the guy that turns into a lizard. There's this armored commander guy right here. We have to Axe's ult hand him here. Edelgard's strength is really low at this point. You want to see her in the 40s by this point, ideally. But it's okay. We're gonna make it work. So what we wind up doing here is we're gonna keep that middle guy silenced at all times, because again, global range. We don't want anybody to get picked off. Rhea is going to spawn off into the bushes off to the right over here. So she's going to be, just like in Chapter 12, she's just greeted by just a monster in her face. That's going to kill her immediately. So yeah, we're going to move these guys up. These guys really aren't even necessary unless you need to do some backups. Linhardt in particular, he's going to be used to heal Edelgard, so she takes quite a bit of damage when like tanking the samurai guys and the other the commander guy. So we want to make sure Linhardt is in range so he could heal her up, because I don't want to waste her actions using an elixir, because her actions are very, very tight here. If I had to waste one, it just you take an entire other turn, so it's very slow. So Linhardt is there for that. They can also root you, so we want to make sure that he can use Restore to clear that off of Edelgard, so we can keep moving on and get into those map objectives. Dorothea is literally only here just to meteor. She may or may not need to meteor people. So Daoud and Dimitri are both damage ranges. Daoud is either a crit or everything hitting, and Dimitri just has like insane evasion, so you need 2 hits to kill him. So like I said, Linhardt is just up here to heal. I'm going to try to kill Daoud here with just Amir, and it winds up working, which is great. So that's Raging Storm number 5. Now Amir broke, and we're going to need to repair it before the next mission. Come up here, we're going to try to kill Dimitri. I don't remember what happens here, but it may or may not work. If it didn't work, I have Dorothea as a backup. She's just sitting down there ready to meteor him in the face. And then Byleth is going to come up here and kill Mercedes, who's the last commander. She spawns in. Okay, oh yeah, I forgot about this. So I wind up having to use a backup here and Sublime Heaven instead of just using a normal attack. But yeah, so that is combat at the Tilian Plains. That map it's been a 4-turn strat for basically the entire like duration of this speedrun, and then we found a 3-turn strat, but you have to get lucky to do 3 turns. If you get rooted or if you get too much damage on Edelgard, you basically have to take 4 turns, and if you miss any of your damage ranges, you just end turn and kill him the next turn. And at that point, like all of your other characters are kind of out of harm's way. So you saw there I had that overlay up where it shows the ranges of where my characters are in danger of getting attacked. But they're all out of harm's way. We're good. We're good to go. We can just end turn. Hi, cat. Sorry. So we're moving into the last map. This is the Fight for Firadad. The objective of this map is to kill the Immaculate One. So Rhea turns into this gigantic dragon. She is a 3x3 boss. She has 4 HP bars, and she is a menace. So originally this strategy was like 8 turns where you kind of slow pushed up. You used a bunch of different characters, but now that we can repair Amir, Byleth and Edelgard can solo her. So it gets pretty ridiculous. There's like a very, very precise setup. As always, Pegasus Knights are like the biggest nightmare in this speed run. So we like position just outside of the Pegasus Knights range, and we set up, we get our warp off, we get our stride off, and Byleth and Edelgard go in and do work. So yeah, this is a fun fight to watch. I'm gonna try not to talk too much.
Let's clean up. What's my strategy?
So right here, we're basically clearing out our setup spot. So Byleth is going to use that gambit that hits a big rectangle in front of her. Edelgard's going to come in. We're going to start just kind of killing off these guys one by one. All of this positioning is just right outside. There's 2 Pegasus Knights that are like right up on the ledge to the north. So all of this is positioning just outside of their range, because if they came in, they could definitely one-shot Byleth or Edelgard. If either of them died, it's mission over, and you have the Divine Pulse and go back. This Golem right up here, we have to kill him off, because he's gonna come and be a menace. He likes to deal a bunch of damage. Thankfully, he doesn't have too much HP. Byleth and Edelgard are able to make pretty short work of him. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, we're gonna do 2 setup turns, and then turn 3 we're gonna go for the jugular. We're gonna take out Rhea. We're gonna take out the seat of power with the church. We're gonna win. It's gonna be great. Here I use Linhardt. This is a damage range on so the Golem attacked Byleth, and it's a damage range whether or not Byleth's counterattack kills. It didn't, so Linhardt fills that range. Here Byleth is just not too healthy. So I do wind up taking a 4th turn, literally just to elixir Byleth. I think you can take like up to 5 turns before anybody will actually come and try to kill you when you're just sitting here. So you can take your time, you can get set up properly, you can make sure that you're gonna win. Especially like right now, I'm 6 minutes ahead of PB. I'm like, I'm gonna take my time. We're gonna do this right. I don't want to lose this. So yeah, what happens here is we're gonna be setting up to warp Byleth over the wall. We need both warps here because I'm not gonna be able to dance Byleth. I need the dance for Edelgard. Both of them have to have full actions when I get them up to the northern part of this map that is near Immaculate One. Alright, so Linhardt is going to be the one to warp Byleth over the wall. This Linhardt is like really, really beefy. My warp range is never that long, but that's cool. It doesn't matter at all. Like you can do that with a 3 warp and you'd be just fine. Sylvan's going to come in here, dance Edelgard. Byleth is going to break a tile. Important for the backup for this, Cyril is the guy in the top left. He is another menace, but that Gambit actually hits him, and he gets rooted, so he can't come in and ruin your day. So the backup for this, I don't wind up doing because I crit. But Edelgard has too low of strength here. She's not able to one-shot Immaculate One's first HP bar, unless she crits, which she did. And you would just have to end turn here and hope. You just hope you don't die. If you do die, you back it up, you do a different action somewhere else, and then you do it again and hope you don't die. But now Edelgard is just Raging Storming away. She takes care of the first HP bar with the Raging Storm, the second HP bar with 2 Raging Storms, the third HP bar with 2 Raging Storms, and then she Brave Axes the last one. So one thing that happened here is I have a shield equipped on her. I actually had to unequip it for Rhea as well, because it slows her down to the point where the Brave Axe doesn't do enough damage. So you see there, it only does about half of the HP bar. I need it to do like 7/8, because right now, Immaculate One is targeted onto Byleth because of the Gambit, and she needs to die on the counterattack. So right here, she's going to counterattack him, and we're good to go. So yeah, that's Fire Emblem, 3 houses, Black Eagles route. I really hope you consider it for GDQ. I think it's a great run. This game had awesome reception, and it would be really cool to see it highlighted at GDQ. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, and thank you for your consideration.